writer, director.
What up? I'm Katie. What am I? I'm a production coordinator. I'm working on a TV show called Johnny Test for Wild Brain.
So at the moment, I am working for Sony Animation, Sony Pictures Imageworks, and I've worked on movies like this, movies like this, movies like this. There have been some great ones. There have been ones like this.
I have done production for other animated movies. The TV show is a newer experience, and also with Hungry Creature Productions working on our short films.
You might be wondering, where does the writing and directing come in? Well, that's a good question. I don't get paid to do that. That's something that I do on my own time. But yeah, I've written award-winning screenplays such as this one, and I have written and directed these short films. How has that changed since COVID? Well, that's what we're going to talk about here. Before all this happened, what was life in the VFX animation world like before COVID came along and just kind of, ruined everything for everyone? It's like, it hasn't even been that bad for me, but it has been pretty awful for a lot of people.
Well, pre-COVID, my commute was usually about 45 minutes to an hour, I think, maybe longer. I don't actually remember. It had its ups and downs because I would have to get myself up and moving and feel like coherent enough to go and leave. But I also, during that time where I'd be traveling, I was able to kind of wake up a bit, which was kind of nice. But then I'd get to work. If I had meetings, go to those meetings or follow up with my team, my art director, just normally keeping track of artist tasks and future artist tasks. And if we have an upcoming episode, preparing for that upcoming episode, whether it's planning for new designs or trying to reuse existing designs we already have. Yeah, but usually my job is a lot of checking on other people's tasks to kind of make sure they're hitting the deadlines that we need, and then passing that information along. Once my day was over, my travel home was always kind of nice because I would take a nice walk, like a scenic walk by the water to get to my train. So that was a nice relaxing way to end my day. By the time I'd get home though, I would be a bit tired, and usually because Josh's commute is a little less than mine, he probably would have already started taking care of the cats, making dinner, because it takes me like a year to get home. But that'd be my normal day.
So on a normal day, I would wake up 6 a.m. ideally, so I could have a little time to write, a little time to tinker away, a little time to work on this YouTube channel. That's how I was able to make those short films and write that screenplay that I mentioned before. Then I'd have to play with the cats, feed the cats, get ready for work. We try to leave the house by about 8 o'clock, because even though we work downtown, we don't have a car and we take the train. On the train, in a 45-minute to an hour transit, I would get a lot of reading done. Once I get to work, get yourself some coffee from the fancy coffee machines they've got there. Maybe grab a snack. Some days you have free breakfast. Some studios offer different freebies. Just depends on where you're working at the moment. Get to my desk, do some work, probably head to the theater for a meeting or review once or twice during the day. If you have a question, you go to your lead, you go to your coworkers, you go to the compositor who's compositing your elements in the shot, you talk to them about it, chatting with people that you enjoy being around. There's a certain sense of camaraderie when you're working on a movie. Then, around 6 p.m., head out, back to the train, do some more reading or writing, get home, make some dinner, play with the cats again. And then from maybe 8 to 9:30, I would go back to work for myself, either working on another screenplay, working on a short film, working on this YouTube channel. And so that was really my setup before this whole thing happened. All of a sudden, we find ourselves being sent home until this whole thing blew over, which by and large, it still hasn't. Fortunately, I had made the transition several years ago to feature animation, where before I had been exclusively working on live action feature films. So that ended up really saving me, because not as many people directly involved in front of camera. You don't need a crew. Animation can just keep plugging away. The caveat being, you've got to find a way to make work from home work. And a lot of studios did this in a lot of different ways. Most of it involves sending hardware home with their employees, and those employees better have a darn fast internet speed in order to be able to connect. That's not an issue for us. So what does a day in COVID-19 inspired work from home look like for me, a matte painter? Well, I would love to say that I continue to get up early and continue to work on personal projects, but unfortunately, there's just something about not having work to go to that keeps me from getting up early enough. It's very frustrating. Work starts at 9, so I'll roll out of bed maybe between 8 and 8:30. Leaves me no time to do any writing, no time to really work on the YouTube channel, or heck, barely any time to play with the cats. Saunter into the office, log in, say hello via chat to everyone, and continue working remotely. Take a break for lunch. After work, I'll try to convince myself to maybe work on some of my, what I consider to be more emotionally important personal projects. So maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get half an hour to an hour work done on my writing or my short films or this YouTube channel. Because I'm working from home and because there's no transit, you would think that opens up a lot of free time. And it does to a degree, but it also creates the illusion that time is moving much faster. I've been getting up later, and I've been staying up later.
Post-COVID, get up, potentially assist Josh with any morning tasks, like taking care of the cats, making coffee, dishes. That's rare because I'm a terrible partner and do not like to leave my bed.
That's not true. You're not terrible.
It's so hard to get out of my bed. It's rough. It's rough. Whether it's early or not, I usually, by the time I have to get to my desk, I'm still in my pajamas and I start my workday. And it's basically the same as what it was before, only any meetings are over Zoom. Yeah, nothing really changed there. If anything, I might get a little more work done because a lot of my stuff is just focusing on spreadsheets and looking at scripts and documentation. And, you know, at the studio, you're giving the opportunity to socialize and communicate and mingle with your peers and your bosses and your artists. And that's awesome. But I don't have that. I mean, you have that, like, you can chat them, like send them a little text message or whatever, but like, it's not the same. But at the same time, that's kind of helped a little bit because I think I get a lot more work done. I have to make sure I leave my desk for lunch. That's rough because like you're right there. And then once the day is over, I just leave my desk and go to the next room. I don't want to go back into my office for like personal stuff because like I was already in there and done. Moving on.
So I think the positives of work from home are a little bit self-explanatory. I get to be home, which is nice. The cats have been absolutely clingy. It's nutty how attached they are to us now. If and when we ever do return to the office, I think they're gonna have a hard time adjusting to the fact that we're not around all the time anymore. So I really hope that's not the case. There's just something really nice, something really comforting about being home. We have a nice sized apartment. My wife and I get along. We enjoy time in each other's company. So there's no real friction there, which is certainly not the case for everyone, but an absolute blessing for us. We're saving money on train tickets, so that's nice, at least. Even though I talked earlier about how my schedule is all thrown off, I do think I've been getting pretty good sleep. For a portion of the quarantine, we were actually taking the opportunity to do things we'd never done before, like jogging, gardening, started making my own hot sauce, growing and fermenting my own peppers. Like, what is this? I guess I'm 80 years old now. But by and large, working from home is a delight. I think because of the circumstances, it can make you feel a little bit trapped, but overall, like, totally recommend the work from home thing if you can swing it, regardless of whether you're seeing this during the pandemic or hopefully after the pandemic, if it ever ends, or if you're a time traveler, if you're watching this before the pandemic, in which case you've got some serious work ahead of you. Do your part. What are the positives of working from home during coronavirus?
No bra.
Same.
The commute did take a lot of time from my day, so the lack of commute is pretty nice. I think I get more work done. Basically, I'm doing so many types of things that I can't even really listen to like music or listen to like a video or something. Talking, other sounds kind of really become very distracting. So if I'm at the office, even just being next to a person at all can be a little more distracting. So that's kind of nice, is that I do feel like I get more accomplished. And I mean, my days are still really busy, and sometimes I don't leave my desk at the proper time, but I feel like overall I actually have been getting more work done and doing a better job at managing my time. Not considering COVID, just in general, I do like working from home. That's a nice little gift, is you can still, especially if your partner's working from home, you get to see them more. I know for some people who have kids, they like and don't like that whole thing. Our cats seem to love it.
And now for the negatives of coronavirus-inspired work from home. It's difficult for everyone. This isn't particularly work from home related, but being aware of the news and how both the pandemic and just general civil unrest, police brutality, incompetent governments, just a constant barrage of horrible things happening kind of takes a toll on you. It doesn't help that you're trapped in this bubble of your home. It is difficult for me to want to work on my writing. It's difficult for me to want to make my own stuff when that would involve waking up early to sit in the same place I'm gonna sit all day, and then after work doing what I was paid to do, to go back to that same computer and sit in that same space for even longer until it's time to go to bed. The lack of change really throws off my motivation in that regard. Additionally, I have to pay for my own snacks. I have to make my own coffee. Wah wah. If you get bored or you get stuck or you need to stretch your legs, you can go talk to people in other departments. You can go talk to your friends. Just you don't feel so tied in one place. Another thing that's really nice is transit. You know, spending that time to both ramp up in the morning and detox at the end of the day. There's this clear division between work and home that, I don't know, I just think it's very healthy. It feels good, and you don't really get that when you are home. Now, I suppose I could get up early, work on projects, literally leave the house, walk around the block, and come back home, which is something in A Creature Bites Magid suggested, which I think is very good advice. But that also sounds like a lot of effort when I could just roll out of bed and stumble to my computer to make it in time for work. So yeah, his advice is good. It's just me that's not. Overall, it really hasn't been that bad for me. I'm just finding things to complain about because that's the category.
Working from home is great, but the inability to socialize outside of work is draining on, I think, your emotional state. The lack of ability to like go out to dinner and do normal outings without certain protocols has been, I think, a bit stressful. If there wasn't a pandemic out there, but I was just working from home, it'd be much more relaxing. Because right now, at least for me particularly, work isn't any more stressful than it was at work. For me, it's mainly just the added stress of the pandemic affecting everyone's mental and emotional state on top of normal work stress. Like, there's a lot about it that I like. It's just those two things are really big. I'm gonna go relax.
Oh, hello. I was just thinking about the future. How are you? If you want to see more videos about what's involved in joining or staying a part of the film, VFX, or animation industries, you should probably subscribe to our channel. And if you watched this far into the video, there's a chance that you'd probably like the other videos too. Unless you did it by accident, in which case you might accidentally like the other videos. Who knows? I don't. Thanks for watching. Hey, thanks for watching that video. If you liked what you saw, give us a like. If you didn't, don't. If you want to see some of the episodes we've made in the past, check out the playlist tab on our YouTube channel page.
It's also all organized on our website.
On that website, use the contact form to sign up for our free electronic monthly magazine.
It's packed with behind-the-scenes breakdowns, channel data, polls, and even discounts on our boutique.